Hi guys. This is Fuck That Noise. And I'm Holly, which I hope most of you know by now, the ones in my group. So again, Erin is not here this week, and so I'm alone, which is why I have this, because I'm a loner. And I'm going to talk about fucking the noise in our heads again, right? So I had talked about that in a couple of episodes prior, and normally I just say tire about societal bullshit, but we got a lot of fucking noise in our head that we want to get out the other side, right? We want to change up the rhetoric. We want to live better lives, and this is how we're going to do it. It has to start from here, in here, and the stories we tell ourselves, right? So I tend to have a lot of trouble performing salient tasks. And what salient tasks are tasks that are not exciting, like a code blue doing CPR. They're not tasks that are novel and new, like learning a brand new thing, learning a new discipline of knowledge, like Zen and motorcycle mechanics, right? And then salient tasks are they're somewhat routine and monotonous and consistent and repetitive. So no matter how much excitement I can inject into this task at hand, this project, like filing bills or organizing my taxes and submitting those, as much as I try, it's too fucking hard. It's too fucking hard. I can't contrive dopamine interest in order to perform these tasks at the level of concentration and focus I need. So there are some things that help besides delegating that shit out. Lubes. And no, I'm not advertising that company, but that is a good lube. It's a good silicone-based lube. Good for wands. So, so certain things can help engage the brain long enough to complete certain tasks, and that would be movement. Movement helps to facilitate and organize the vibrational frequencies of connection between the neurons in the executive functioning parts of the brain to do these lower energy kind of tasks. So it's damn hard to walk a treadmill while typing on my computer for certain work projects. And so sometimes if I elicit a bunch of movement, full body movement for a little bit prior to working on these salient tasks, I can sustain attention long enough. Now, for a short period of time, and then I can return to movement. Another lube is creativity. Now, I had one project where I was required to look at a set of instructions, all written out, very easy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and follow the instructions and get the outcome, the desired outcome. And that's hard for me. Now, I ended up rearranging the information, the instructions, the set of instructions, and there were some missing pieces that I was able to add in from conversations with other coworkers and emails. That's another key, is there was some missing information and rearrangement of the steps in an order that is fluid for me in my environment. So I nowadays I'm getting better at this. I discovered there are different ways of organizing information that is maybe a little more conducive to my brain and maybe even most brains. But if you think about yourself in an environment and you want to paint this room, you want to paint it red because you want it to look like a weird ass dive bar, I guess. But that room is not, painting that room is not one task. Painting room. So it's not one task. People say, oh, break it up into smaller tasks and then you'll complete it. But it's better for me to see it in a different light. Instead of breaking apart this into multiple little pieces, I am going to have this in the distance, down the road, goal. Here's a big sign. It says goal. Room is painted. The language matters. Is paint. Painted. Okay, so that's the goal. And then if I I could rearrange the instructions on how to paint the room in a creative way, but if I just rearrange the entire structure, the entire mental framework, I'll be able to understand it better, and not just in terms of broken up little pieces that come together to create the whole, but more in terms of a travel and physical locations, movement and distance between locations and the objects I pick up in those locations. So in my mental framework, I'm starting off right here, and I want to get over here. So I need to go to the paint store to pick up supplies. So that is a different locale. And then I will need to I'll need to empty things out of the room I want to paint. All right. So inside of here, in here, I need to empty it and shift that stuff into another room. So these are separate locales, right? And then I need to return to this room, and it ends up being further down this path, right? Because it's not the same space-time. We're on a treadmill, right? I need to return to the room to set it up to paint. I need to tape it. I need to put down plastic. I need to do the detail work, and I need to do the big wall paint. And then another room would be waiting further down the road, waiting until it dries and removing all of that crap. And yet another room I have to walk into to get, I hope you guys can still see me, God. I have to get to another room to grab all the other crap and return to the old room. So instead of listing it all out, you know, step 1, 2, 3, 4, using this kind of visual structure is a little more conducive to me because it denotes a shift in time and movement and location. So I can better plan how long it's going to take me to get to the store and return and shop, and how long it's going to take me to set up. Now, and I frame it. I frame it differently too. It's not, hey, complete task, obligatory, get it done. This is the goal of and what the completed outcome looks like. The reframe. And I'm injecting a little color there because this has got images, movement, you know, injecting color. It's got images and movement and geometric shapes, which to our human brains gives a little more meaning and understanding than little bits and pieces broken up like that. And that's everyone's brains to some degree. So rearrangement of objects, I kind of hit up on that. So if I have these sets of instructions and I'm rearranging them to look like this, as long as I maintain the integrity of the end product, no harm, no foul, right? So what this does, this rearrangement does, is getting down and pulling out pieces of information and cobbling certain pieces on top of others that really do belong, you know, to different blocks that, you know, like instruction 1 is this, right? They tell you instruction 1 is this, and I'll look at it and I'll think, God, that's kind of fucking confusing because they don't really belong together. They're two very different kinds of pens. So maybe I separate them. Maybe I combine them this way because, you know, after red is pink, perhaps. Something that's a little more fluid to my understanding. It makes sense to me, and then it forces me to hone in and focus on what is being asked of me at the time. So if I rearrange it, not only is it giving me more honed focus, but it also, I'm rearranging the whole thing, so it gives me a bigger picture. And the different look of it's novelty for the brain. So there's one project I've got on hand that's, you know, kind of this paperwork heavy, salient type of project. And every once in a while, I will rearrange the instructions yet again for more novelty, more understanding. And the different Excel spreadsheets I have to move between and different software programs I have to move between are different rooms. And so I arrange it in the fluidity of moving from one room to another. And each set of instructions that I put on myself is a different movement, a different click. So this is one movement, click here. Here's another movement, click here. So it's not too detailed because, good God, that's insane. But a different kind of boxing in of information in my mind. And then each room change from one Excel spreadsheet to another Excel spreadsheet to Adobe or whatever it is marked by a different color. So Microsoft to Adobe. And this gives me an intuitive flip in my mind in which I don't have to read out the word Microsoft. I don't have to read out the word Adobe and then interpret it, this label, this name, and that represents a different object. the color change denotes a change. And brain automatically knows that. And then the different colors represent a different locale, a different room, so to speak. And that's quicker for the brain to switch to versus the processing it takes to read and interpret a word and what it represents. It's quicker. So there's that, and I'll throw in a few pictures and images to onto my own set of instructions. So the iconic symbol of Adobe, I copied and pasted it into my instructions, and the iconic symbol of Excel, I copied and pasted it into my instructions. Because the images help me flip between the different sets of motions, the commands that is required of me. God, I swear, I'm sorry. I think I'm off camera. Anyway, you guys can't fucking see this, can you? Like, does it go down that far? Sorry. Yeah, it does. Never mind. Okay. So, another lube. So another way to lube. Another way to lube up the brain to the task at hand. Is God damn, I got it on my glasses. Another way to lube up the task at hand is to add a different layer of meaningfulness to the project. So understanding like why the project is important, what's the greater goal, that's important. How it can benefit me is important, and that doesn't mean selfishness. What that means is it's relatability, and it gives more energy behind it, and it doesn't mean taking away from anyone else. So making it more relatable to me, figuring out how it benefits me directly in some way, shape, or form, not selfishness. Now, if I were to remove something from someone else, take from someone else, that would be selfishness, right? Or if it were to harm somebody else, that would be selfishness. So it doesn't mean any of that nonsense. So to add another layer of meaningfulness to this project is I can think, okay, how does one learning this these different programs in a different way, how is that going to help me with something else in my life, my goals and such? And yeah, I can see kind of in a vague, abstract sense that it's a good way to improve my software skills for something else I might need. That's not as much meaningfulness, but it's a start, right? So while doing these projects, if I associate what kind of work I'm doing in a generalized structure, I'm looking at a chart and how it's organized and the information to put in to this program and then this program, it gives me a geometric framework when I pull back and look at it that I can utilize towards structuring other projects of mine, like the habits group and fuck that noise. And so it puts my goals and my plans and my trajectory on different planes, three-dimensional planes, so to speak, in space, and it opens my mind up wider. So that's fun. That's a big driver of mine, a big motivator of mine is continuous learning. It's really satisfactory to my brain, you know, the novelty, learning, you know, new stuff. Novelty is really stimulatory towards the brain, and stimulation of the brain is it's nourishment, right? We need it. If the salient tasks are, you know, they're not nourishing the brain, brain's not functioning, right? So this is really, really kind of a vague visualization, not meant to be super scientific at all. But let's say you've got two neurons, right? And then in between the two neurons is this intracellular space, intracellular. You guys didn't know you were getting a biology lesson, did you? Intracellular space, and then neuron. So you get some like messenger protein, right? Maybe a hormone of some kind, messenger protein hormone. Let's say dopamine. Okay, so dopamine is like the go-between the two, and there's like energy frequencies, right? So symbolically, we've got energy frequency here and up here, so higher frequency, lower frequency. So there's this magical threshold of communication between these two neurons to talk to each other in order for brain to function, right? This is the talking space, like the talk, you know, where we sit around and gossip and talk shit about people. This is the talking shit space. So outside of this space, you know, if a dopamine is coming along, shoots underneath or over top, it's not going to get there. The two neurons aren't going to talk. It's not within the magical threshold. It's not possible. So you need to like your brain neurons to talk to each other in a language that's frequency that each other understands. You're not speaking the same language, you know, lower or higher, they're not going to understand each other. So that's what all these lubes are. An attempt to harness the brain, harness the neurons, and the energy between the two neurons, the talking between the two neurons, within that magical threshold right here. So, I've got other lubes, other tools that I write about on my habits group. Those are some of my favorite for salient tasks that tend to help. So, working out, obviously I do it all the time. Chores around the house, shifting environment, not only for the movement, but shifting environment for a different environment. Sometimes I work better at a bar where the noise is not too sharp or too loud. There's somewhat of a steady hum with enough variation that I'm less distracted by millions of different brilliant ideas and thoughts. And the lighting tends to be not too bright. A little light sensitive. So I shift environment. I didn't write that down. That's a good one. Change. Chemical symbol for change. Environment. Change environment. The physical movement, the chores, exercise, whatever floats your boat. Creativity. Creating something new from the information I'm making, new images, new arrangement of the information, and so that I achieve novelty. It looks different. It provides more meaning. And adding different layers of meaningfulness. How can I apply this knowledge to something else? How can I take what I learned here and spread it to other parts of my life? This pulls me in more. It engages me more. Helps me focus more. So. Another thing I've mentioned on my group, my habits group, is that a lot of times when I go to write a post about a tool or a principle kind of concept for habit building, my Facebook group, for anyone who has no idea what I'm referencing, I have no idea when I begin what I am going to write about. Or it'll just be the vaguest topic in my mind, the vaguest concept. I might not even have a title for it yet. You know, the habit of blah blah blah, whatever. The habit of forcing it. I have no idea. But once I sit down and get down to it and start typing, the words flow out of me. So it's another way to process, and almost like external processing, and things start moving along that way. They start flowing, gliding along the loop, just sitting down and typing some words about this or that. And I often don't change the structure of my posts at all. I'll change a few words here and there for better clarification, but it just comes out naturally. And some people, they think better that way when they write or when they create images, create art. They're showing what they're thinking or feeling through the images they create. And the creativity harnesses the brain, harnesses the conversation, pulls down all the little dopamine energy blasts and hones it down into here. A lot of times I resist this myself because I think, oh God, I'm just adding more work to it. Why don't I just get down and just do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Right? Simpler, shorter, but it's not for me. My group, for peeps who don't know, is the quest for erecting handsome habits, and you can check it out. I'm posting tips on habit building there, and how to frame our minds in a way that allows us to achieve routines and behaviors of thought and action, things we do in order to build up to the goals we have, like more money or better career or promotion. It's all those little steps, right? And it starts here and here. All right, guys, that's it. See you later.